Assalamu alaikum dear students. I hope you all are fine. So today we will discuss about separating mixtures. First of all, we will discuss about difference between mixture and compound. Mixture is usually easy to separate to get back the substance or elements. Why it is easy to separate mixtures as compared to compounds? Because of the absence of chemical reaction. No chemical reaction is involved in the formation of mixture, and in the formation of compound chemical reaction is involved. In mixture they are not completely dissolved, and in compound they are completely dissolved, so it will be difficult to separate compounds as compared to mixtures. Examples of mixtures: air. Air is a mixture of gases in which oxygen, nitrogen, and other gases are involved. Baking powder, sodium bicarbonate, and tartaric acid is a mixture which forms baking powder. Compounds are usually difficult to separate to get back the substance or elements. As I have told you earlier, why it is difficult to separate compounds as compared to mixtures, because there is chemical reaction involved in the formation of compounds. So that's why it will be difficult to separate compounds as compared to mixtures. Examples of compounds are carbon dioxide, methane, and glucose. Carbon and oxygen in the chemical reaction form carbon dioxide. Carbon and hydrogen in the chemical reaction form methane. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in the chemical reaction form glucose. As you can see in the diagrammatical representation, it will be easy to separate mixtures as compared to compounds because of the difference of the colors. As I told you, and I give you the task to separate mixtures, it would be easy for you to separate yellow jelly beans, orange jelly beans, red jelly beans, purple jelly beans. But if I told you to separate compounds, it would be difficult for you to separate salt components. There are different techniques used to separate mixtures. Note down, students, that we are talking about the separation of mixtures, not about compounds. So there are total 5 techniques which we will discuss that are used to separate mixtures. And first of all, our first technique will be filtration, second technique will be evaporation, third one will be sublimation, fourth one will be distillation, and fifth one will be paper chromatography. Our first technique is filtration. If you have a mixture of liquid and solid that has not dissolved, you can separate the liquid and solid by filtering. How we can separate them? If we take a beaker and pour water in it and then pour sand in it, so they will not completely dissolved and can be easily separated by the filtration process. Now if we take a glass funnel, as you can see in the diagram, if we take a glass funnel and another empty beaker, so in the glass funnel we will place the filter paper. Now we will pour that mixture in it of water and sand, um, and if we pour that mixture in it, so the sand will be captured by the filter paper, and the water will be converted into the beaker. So how it is possible? Filter paper work here as a strainer. As we use a strainer to separate tea leaves, so here we are using filter paper to separate sand from water. The sand left behind on the filter paper is called residue, and the water which is converted into another beaker is called filtrate. So this process is called filtration. So dear students, this is the microscopic view of filter paper. It is, as you can see, it just look like a strainer, and small holes are present in it, and brown particles, as you can see, these brown particles are sand particles which are trapped in these holes, and these blue particles are water vapors or water particles which easily passes through this filter paper. Daily life example of uses of filtration process. In daily life we are using filtration process. How we are using this filtration process in daily life? We are filtering coffee on daily basis by using filter paper, tea strainer to strain to residue tea leaves, and next example is hair inside nose to trap dust particles. As you have as students, as you have observed, tiny or small hairs are present inside our nose. These hairs are present inside our nose to trap dust particles, impurities, so that our body is prevented from harmful germs and harmful impurities. And the next one is vacuum cleaner with cloth filter. Vacuum cleaner is used to clean dust particles. Cloth filter is present in this vacuum cleaner so that dust particle does not mix with the atmosphere air, and easily get trapped in the cloth filter. Now the next one is water treatment process. It is also the part of filtration. In water treatment process, we will learn about how we can get clean drinking water from the raw water. As we all know that natural water is present in the raw form, in which lots of impurities are present. So how we can get clean water or pure water through the process of filtration? So in this diagram whole process is discussed. First, raw water is coagulated. In coagulation means stickness. The dust particles or impurities are sticked through a process called coagulation. In coagulation process, aluminium and iron salts are inserted in water, and these salts get attached to the impurities and stick to the impurities, and form large particles. And in the next step we will see flocculation. As we can see, these small particles are stick to the salt and form large particles. In sedimentation, as you can see, these large particles are settled at the bottom. As we have noticed that if we pour water and large particles, so the particles in the water will settle down, heavy particles will settle down at the bottom. In the filtration process, layers are formed as a residue, in which a black layer is of coal, and the second layer is of sand, and the third layer is of gravel, which are also known as small stones. So water is filtered through this process and passed through the disinfectant and are stored in the treated water storage, and then distributed to different home consumptions. So from this process, clean water is available is available for home consumptions. Next technique to separate mixture is evaporation. In evaporation process, a dissolved solid can be separated from a liquid. As we have discussed earlier that mixtures are not completely dissolved into a liquid, but in this process it is also not completely dissolved but little bit dissolved in the liquid. A mixture of dissolved salt is separated from water by evaporation. If you take a burner and a petri dish and take some water in it, pour some water in it, and dissolve some salt in it. So how we can separate this salt from water? By evaporating water. So the answer is by evaporating water. After some time or after some time the water will evaporate and the salt will left behind at the bottom of the container. So in this way we can separate mixtures through evaporation. Now the next process is sublimation. In sublimation process, a few solid substances go straight to the gas state when they are heated, missing out the liquid state. This property is used to purify such substances. For example, solid carbon dioxide, dry ice, iodine and sulfur. As we all know that in according to states of matter, first of all the matter will change from solid to liquid state and then from liquid to gas state, but there are few or such substances which directly converts from solid to gas state and they skip out liquid state. So these substances are solid carbon dioxide and iodine and sulfur. I will give you some little knowledge about carbon dioxide, which is also known as dry ice. It is used to maintain. It is used to maintain the temperature of some vaccines and some medicines, which required very low temperature or temperature in minus degree centigrade. We can't use daily use ice which we use from freezing water. Because it melts very quickly, and dry ice or solid carbon dioxide does not melt very quickly. It takes some time and it is very suitable for the maintenance of these vaccines and medicines. For example, according to the present situation, COVID-19 vaccine needs minus 70 degree Fahrenheit temperature. So how the sublimation process works? First of all, we will take a container in which we have put down iodine with some impurities. How we can purify this solid substance? We can separate these or purify these solid substance by a process known as sublimation. First of all, we will take a container in which iodine is placed with impurities. The next step, we in the middle of this, on the middle or on the top of this container, we will place filter paper, and next step will be we will place inverted funnel on the top of it. We will place cotton so that to prevent escape of gases, because iodine will be directly converted from solid to gas state. So that's why from preventing it, or from preventing the escape of gases, cotton will be placed on inverted funnel. So this iodine pass through the filter paper and stick to the funnel, inverted funnel, and the impurities will left behind on the container. So in this way process of sublimation occurs. As you can see, iodine is purple in color and funnel and stick to the funnel, and the impurities are left behind on the left container. And thank you, and in the next lecture we will discuss about distillation and chromatography.